The question is, I am an adult male and I want to move to the Muslim village, but my family doesn't want to do so. My answer is, save yourself first. Only if you save yourself do you have a chance to save others. So if you have to leave them and go to the village, do that. This is happening now, you know. In the United States, many are waking up. And then the father would say to the family, we're moving back to Pakistan. This is what is coming up. And the mother would say, you can go, we're staying here. And the children would say, Dad, you can go, but we're staying here. Too late, too late, too late. And so he packs up and he goes to Pakistan. Which da'wah is more powerful? To go out there and deliver 1,000 lectures to the non-Muslims, or to invite a non-Muslim to come to the village to see Islam? You don't have to preach. No, they just have to come and look and see how you live. Your body will speak. The smiles in the village will speak. The food that you eat will speak. The happiness of the woman will speak. The unity of the community would speak. The discipline of the community would speak. And that would be a far more powerful da'wah than the 1,000 lectures. What do we do for energy in the Muslim village? You can use electricity from the electricity grid, but don't be so foolish to depend upon it, because they can switch it off. Well then, what can be used as your backup? In Surah Al-Kahf there is the answer. The answer was the young men were sleeping in the cave, and they slept for 300 years. How did they survive? They need some energy for the vital organs to remain alive. And Allah says the sunlight entered the cave in the mornings and in the evenings. And the bodies of the young men would roll attracted to the sunlight, back and forth, back and forth. And so Surah Al-Kahf is telling us that there is a transformation of sunlight to energy. We call it solar energy now. And the one thing that the World Bank does not want you to do is to harness solar energy, because they want to keep you hooked on oil. So in our village, to the extent that we can use solar energy, wind energy, other forms of energy, India has done a lot of work in that field. We will try to exploit alternative forms of energy. I've seen in Malaysia, you have electricity, street lights powered with solar panels. Yeah. Cooking with solar cooker. Somebody wanted to have a solar air conditioning for the motor car. I don't know where that project went. I don't have the time to speak about industry and the Muslim village. That's a very important point, because we don't want the Muslim village to be a hotel. Every morning 6 o'clock all the men are gone, and every evening 6 o'clock all the men return. Oh no, 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 no. We want that masjid to be full 5 times a day. 5 times a day. A woman is free to come to the masjid to perform salah. Oh yes, in our village. And she is most certainly permitted to come for Salatul Jummah. I don't know what happened in Malaysia. Do you allow it? Very quiet, eh? And when, yeah, they don't have space. You don't have space. You can build the tallest building in the world, but you don't have space. So, our women will have the freedom. If you want to stay home, you stay home. But if you want to come to the masjid, you're free to come. And when you come to the masjid, we're not going to put you in a balcony. We're not going to put you in a basement. We're not going to put you in an annex. No. We're going to put you where Muhammad ﷺ put you. Where did he put you? Tell them for me. He said, tell the women, when they go down in sajda, that they must remain longer in sajda than the men. Have you ever heard that hadith? Huh? Have you ever heard it? This is cold storage now. That's what we've done with the religion of Muhammad ﷺ. Because he said some of the men may not have enough cloth to cover themselves properly. So was there a shortage of branches in Medina? They could put up a screen. They could take some wood and build a partition. They could have a curtain or something. Why didn't they do that? Shall we improve on the religion that came with the Prophet ﷺ? No. He didn't do that. So when the woman came to the masjid, she was at the back and the men at the front. And there was no partition in between. It was not two spaces, it was one space. It was not two spaces, it was one space. And the best row for the men is the first. And the best row for the woman is the last. So she'll fill the last row, and then the second to the last, and then the third to the last, and he'll fill the first and the second and the third and the fourth, until they come close to each other. And that's when he said, that's where the greatest danger lies. So be careful. So in the Muslim village, women will come to the masjid and pray in the masjid in the same space with the men, without any barrier, without any partition, without any curtain. And if anyone is uncomfortable with that, we say, why don't you remain where you are? You don't need to come. What is your advice to the young men who are convinced with the idea of establishing a Muslim village but do not have the resources and the capital to buy land, etc.? We are buying land at 9,000 ringgits an acre. In Damansara Utama, I think it sells at about 4 million or 10 million an acre. Go to where land is cheapest. And if you cannot afford to even buy a little plot of land, somebody may allow you to put up a little kampong house on his land. And it's something that is collapsible. You can dismount it and move it and so on. So don't say, I don't have the money. How do we choose our Amir in the village? Neither the Qur'an nor the Sunnah has given us any single methodology, or method, sorry, for choosing an Amir. The method which was used for Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was different from the method used for Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, was different from the method used for Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The basic principle at work was وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَ بَيْنَهُمْ, that the process must be one in which there is mutual consultation amongst the people. So nobody is left out. Nobody is left out. So we are free to use whatever method we want to use. What Dajjal has done is to give us a method which destroys what Allah has created. You may not be aware of it, but Allah has said in the Qur'an, "Inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha." We have surely created you from a single male and a single female. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. And we have ordained that you should emerge as nations and tribes, groups, communities. He did not create us as individuals. No. He did something vastly more important, wiser than that, than creating individuals. He created us as communities. And the purpose of creating us as communities, لِتَعَارَفُوا, that this may bind you together, that you may be able to recognize each other. But this should not be a source of rivalry. إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The best of you in the sight of Allah is he or she who has the greatest taqwa. What Dajjal has done is to destroy this bond of nations and tribes and create a political system in which the individual is now the unit of the state. And so individuals will exercise individual choice in something called voting. And in the process of holding this carnival called voting, this circus called voting, in the process of constantly having this voting system of individuals, you will eventually break up the tribes and the communities. So we never had this system of one man, one vote, one woman, one vote. No. What we had was a system in which you will have one tribe, and that tribe will consult among themselves, and the Amir of that tribe will then express the view on behalf of the tribe. And through this process of mutual consultation, we will then arrive at a decision concerning the appointment of an Amir. A much wiser and more sensible system than that which Dajjal has delivered. Last question. How far are we from?
The nuclear war is going.
The nuclear war. It's close. Don't ask me how close.